Welcome back to your English listening practice. Today, we leave the quiet towns and go to the ocean for an adventure story. The Message in the Old Bottle. Tom lived in the small, charming seaside town of Port Blossom. He was an artist, but his real passion was the ocean. Every morning, regardless of the weather, he put on his warm jacket and walked for miles along the rocky coastline. He loved the quiet time, when the tide was low and the sea left small hidden treasures on the sand. One Tuesday, the sky was gray and the wind was cold. Tom was walking near a stretch of beach known for its sharp, old rocks. Suddenly, a glint of color caught his eye. It was a piece of dark green glass wedged between two stones. It was an old glass bottle, heavy and clearly very old. It looked like it had been traveling the oceans for many years. The bottle was covered in dirt, salt, and tiny sea creatures, but Tom could clearly see a piece of yellow paper inside. A message in a bottle! His heart began to beat faster. This was the kind of real-life adventure he always dreamed of. He carefully carried the bottle home like it was gold. In his small kitchen, Tom had to break the bottle. It took him a long time, using a thick cloth and a hammer, because he didn't want to damage the treasure inside. The paper was soft, thin, and brittle, like old pastry. The handwriting was faint and shaky, making the English very difficult to read. Tom slowly deciphered the words. "My name is Eliza. I am alone on the island. My boat, the Seabird, is broken on the rocks, and I cannot fix the sail. I have no radio. Please, I beg you, come to the Three Sisters Island. Bring food and fresh water. I am waiting. Date, August 10th. Tom felt a sudden chill. "August 10th?" he whispered. He checked the calendar on his wall. That was 1 year ago. A whole year had passed since the message was written. He immediately felt confused and worried. Was the message a cruel joke? Was the writer still alive? Tom knew he couldn't ignore it. He needed help. He took the message straight to the docks to find his best friend, Captain Jack. Captain Jack was a strong man with a beard, and he owned the biggest fishing boat in Port Blossom, called the Wanderer. Captain Jack read the letter carefully, stroking his beard. "Three Sisters Island, you say? That island is 50 miles of open water from here, Tom. And listen, no one has lived there since the lighthouse keeper left in the 1980s. It is deserted." Tom pointed to the writing. "But Captain, the boat was the Seabird. That name is real. And she said she was scared. We must go." Captain Jack looked at the anxious face of his friend. "All right, Tom, you're crazy, but you're my friend. We leave at sunrise tomorrow. But I'm telling you now, if the girl is not there, you buy the coffee and all the donuts for the return trip." The next day, they sailed. It was a long journey, 5 hours across the gray, open sea. The Three Sisters Island finally appeared. 3 small, rocky hills covered in thick, dark green trees. They found a small, sandy bay and landed the Wanderer. Tom searched near the beach first. He found a large, dark piece of wood and some rusty metal pieces. It was clearly the remains of a broken boat. This proved the message was real. Suddenly, Captain Jack shouted from the top of the nearest hill. Tom ran towards the sound. Captain Jack was standing next to a small, very old stone house, almost hidden by the trees. The windows were small, and smoke was gently coming from the chimney. Near the house, there was a small, vibrant garden, full of red tomatoes and green cabbage. And in the garden, a small, old woman was working on the ground. She was wearing a large straw hat and singing softly to herself. She looked up and smiled, a warm, wide smile that reached her eyes. "Welcome, dear travelers. You must be very cold. I am Eliza." Tom was shocked. But the message was from a year ago. Eliza laughed a slow, happy laugh. "Oh, the message. Oh, I remember that. I sent it the day my little boat broke. I was so lonely then. But look," she gestured to the house and the garden. "I am not alone now. I have the sun, the sea, and my garden. I forgot all about that paper. Thank you for the food anyway." Tom and Captain Jack just looked at each other and then smiled. Eliza was alone on a deserted island, but she was truly happy. They gave her the food and fresh water and sailed home with the strangest, longest adventure story of their lives. Now let's practice your understanding. What was Tom doing when he found the bottle? What was the important date on the message? What did Eliza find on the island that made her stay? I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more English practice.